Hey, do you want to make a podcast? Spotify's got a platform that lets you make one super easily, then distribute it everywhere and even earn money all in one place for free. It's called Spotify for Podcasters, and here's how it works. Spotify for Podcasters lets you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or your computer. So no matter what your setup is like, you can start creating right now. Then you can distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. Video podcasts are also available on Spotify, and when you want to take your conversation with your fans to the next level, Q&A and polls are the best way to get them talking. With Spotify for Podcasters, you can earn money in a variety of ways, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And best of all, it's totally free with no catch. I've hosted my podcast on Spotify for Podcasters since day one, so I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today.
No one said it was easy becoming the person you're meant to be. Life is a roller coaster, and like every good roller coaster, there's twists and turns, loops and dips, and of course, the occasional moment at the top of the incline right before you go plummeting down. And I think that illustrates life very accurately. I'm 26 years old, and I can safely say I do not have this thing called life figured out. From the outside looking in, I've noticed that this is the case for just about everyone. The key for me to living my life is to always keep God first and follow the footsteps He's laid in the sand for me. I was watching a sermon by Pastor Michael Todd of Transformation Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma the other day, and he said one of the worst things in life is to live on this earth and lose the ability to hear God's voice. And I felt that so deeply. He went on to say that God's voice is always there. But when you distance yourself from God, His voice becomes muffled and it gets harder and harder to comprehend what He's saying to you. So imagine God screaming at the top of His lungs to you, but He has a muzzle on His face. There is no way you'd be able to understand anything He was saying to you. But what if you take a step closer to God? Or maybe 2 steps? Or what if you got so close to God that you could remove the muzzle from His face and hear Him clearly state what He's been trying to say to you all along? So in this moment in my life, I am redeeming my relationship with God because, let me be real, raw, and regular for a second. Lately, I felt like I can't distinguish between God's voice and my own voice, and that is not a position that I personally want to be in. In season 1 of Affirmations for Black Girls, we will go on a journey that I'm calling a season of searching. I feel like I've been thrusted into a new chapter of my life, and I'm so excited for what's in store, but first we have to do a little bit of feeling around. Maybe in the dark, maybe it's a little bit of light in the room, but we're feeling around completely and we're searching. And some of the big questions I've asked myself as a 26-year-old Black woman who's single, a starving artist, and living in Los Angeles, California are, who is Tyra? What does Tyra want out of this life? And the biggest one for me right now is, what are your boundaries, Tyra? Ooh. Just asking myself that question right now made me feel so uncomfortable, and I cannot wait to unpack all of this with y'all this season. As Brene Brown said, daring to set boundaries is about having the courage to love ourselves even when we risk disappointing others. And y'all, this first season is going to be all about building courage in ourselves and truly finding who we are. This is Affirmations for Black Girls Season 1, Finding Me.